Welcome to Audible Stories. The Love Lotion. Once upon a time in an African village, a little girl lived with her mother and father. For 7 years she was the happiest girl in the world. Then one day her mother became ill, and soon after she died. Now she was the saddest girl in the world. She wandered the hilltops dreaming of her mother, imagining her mother's voice, her mother's smile, the sweet scent of her mother's skin. One day the little girl's father embraced his daughter and whispered a secret. "I am going to marry again. You will love your new mother. Her 2 daughters will be like sisters to you. You need no longer be so sad." When the new mother and her daughters moved into the little girl's home, she felt as if her world had turned upside down. The new mother was lovely, and her daughters, just a few years older than her, whom she called her sister. But when the little girl closed her eyes, she saw her mother's eyes, and she couldn't imagine ever feeling loved again. The new mother wasn't like her own mother. When the stepmother cooked supper, she didn't set aside a special dish for her. When she put her daughters to bed she would sing lullabies. She did not sing to make her sleep like her mother used to sing. The stepmother didn't wrap her arms around her or whisper secrets to her or laugh the way her mother had laughed. So she decided one afternoon to visit her grandmother, and when she was there, she looked at her grandmother and said, "My stepmother loves her daughters more than she loves me. She doesn't love me. Anyone would love a girl like you," her grandmother said. The little girl shook her head. "I am not her child by blood. She will never love me the way my mother loved me. Perhaps she needs a love lotion," her grandmother said. The little girl's eyes lit up. "Of course. That's what I need." Her grandmother smiled and said, "It is a difficult lotion to make." But she was desperate. "Please, make me this lotion. I will do anything and everything." Her grandmother's eyes sparkled. "There is one ingredient that is very difficult to obtain. To make such a lotion, I need the whisker of a lioness." She would do anything to feel the love she had once felt wrapped in her mother's arms, so she set off in search of a lioness. She walked through the spare countryside, and after she had hiked a while, she saw in the distance a lone lioness, a nomad, sleeping beneath an acacia tree. "Poor thing," she thought. "She is just like me. All alone in the world." She slowly walked closer, careful to be quiet. Then she sat behind a bush, waiting for the lioness to wake. When the lioness woke she let out a low roar from deep in her belly, long and slow. She smiled and whispered, "Such a beautiful loud sound." The little girl watched the lioness for a long time, studying her face and expressions, the way she moved. Then she quietly stood up and walked back home. The next day she returned to the same spot. This time she brought along a piece of raw meat. While the lioness slept, the little girl tossed the meat toward her, then hurried to her hiding place and waited. When the lioness woke, she sniffed the meat and walked quickly toward it. She gobbled it down, then lifted her head and sniffed the air. The lioness sensed the little girl's presence, and she felt her heart flutter. She remained as still as a stone, and before long the lioness ambled down to the river to quench her thirst. The next day she came again, and again she brought along a piece of meat. This time when she tossed it to the lioness, the creature turned her head and gazed across the stretch of wilderness at her. The little girl thought she might be dreaming, but it seemed to her that the lioness offered a nod, as if greeting the girl. Day after day, she visited the lioness. Each day she brought meat, and each day she moved a little closer. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months, months to quarter. After one quarter, she felt some confidence, and she moved closer still. The lioness seemed to smile at her. Each day as she moved closer, the lioness appeared to relax, wondered aloud, perhaps she is comforted by my presence. Then one day she crawled slowly forward. When she was very near, she tossed her a piece of meat. After she had eaten, the little girl reached out and gently pulled a whisker from the lioness' face. Then she sat very still and listened to the deep, contented purr roll up from the great beast's belly. She knew that now they were friends. She thought still, at least now her grandmother could prepare the love lotion. She said farewell to the lioness and ran to her grandmother's home. She waved the whisker. "Look what I have. It's the whisker of a lioness." Her grandmother smiled. "And tell me, child, how did you pull a whisker from such a ferocious creature's face?" "I was patient," she said. "I brought her gifts. I paid close attention to everything she did, everything she loved. I listened and watched her carefully. I let her know I wished her only peace and happiness. I taught her to trust me, and I made grew her trust in me." The grandmother nodded. "I see. That took great courage, time, and effort." Suddenly the little girl understood and she looked up at her grandmother. "I don't need a love lotion, do I?" Her grandmother took the child's hands in hers. "A lotion would be fine. But why not show your stepmother the same patience and gentleness, courage and kindness, that you have shown to the lioness?" That evening the little girl returned home, and when she saw her stepmother and stepsisters, she smiled. Her stepmother returned the smile. And in that moment the whole house felt warmer and smelled sweeter. That night she began to understand that she could be happy again without any love lotion, for she knew she would be loved again by her own mother or stepmother. If you like the story, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you for listening.